Hi everybody, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to approach Lesson Plan 3. Okay, we have new TEKs this time, and there are actually TEKs that are the standard ones that would be for the language arts reading, and there's the ELPS TEKs. They go together, and they have to have both. Okay, the ELPS TEKs is Section C, 4J. Demonstrate English comprehension and expand reading skills by employing inferential skills such as predicting, making connections between ideas, drawing inferences and conclusions from text and graphic sources, and finding supporting text evidence commensurate with content area needs. Now, this is going to be sixth grade reading, and if you are an ESL teacher, especially in the Laredo schools, you will be perhaps expected to be teaching sixth grade reading if you get a junior high school job like my wife did. And sometimes you might be able to teach math or science or social studies, and at other times it'll be the English course that you'll be teaching. You should be somewhat familiar with the reading books that they might have. The literature for sixth grade, you might look up some sixth grade literature. You might be able to go over and find maybe some easy readers that would be for sixth graders that would have sixth grade topics. You don't want to have them reading children's books. These are sixth graders. They should not be reading books that are appropriate for second graders. They're learning English. They're not little though. And so they're interested in the same kinds of stories that normal sixth graders would be interested in. They watch the same TV shows that sixth graders watch. They don't watch the second grade TV shows. So keep that in mind when you pick the literature that is going to be the one you're going to use for this lesson, the piece of literature. It can be a short story, an appropriate short story for sixth graders. Maybe there's an appropriate sixth grade short story that you can look up on the internet when you look up ESL sixth grade reading, and I wouldn't be surprised if you wouldn't find several short stories or chapter books that you could have there. You might have to do a little bit of study to find out what the reading TEKS means, which is the students understand making inferences and drawing conclusions about how an author's sensory language creates imagery in literary text and provides evidence from text to support their understanding. Now, the vocabulary you're going to use will probably be the vocabulary from the reading selection that you're going to use, and that part of the reading selection you're going to use, and you'll find especially the sensory language, the sensory words. Okay, students are expected to explain how authors create meaning through stylistic elements and figurative language, emphasizing the use of personification, hyperbole, and refrains. Of course, you don't have to do all of that. And I think because the regular TEKS is for all students, not just ESL. And so what I just told you about was making inferences, drawing conclusions about how the author's sensory language creates imagery. And so if they're just finding out how the author's sensory language creates imagery in literary text and provide evidence to support their understanding, if you stop it right there, I'll be very happy. And you don't have to do the rest of it there. This was one of those TEKS where they didn't have A, B, C, and D. It was all just one. And so and you would not use the word understand in your TEK, in your objective. Never use the word understand or know. It always has to be something measurable. Now, make inferences, yes. Drawing conclusions, yes. About how author sensory language creates imagery, sure. You can use those kind of words in your objective. Now look at the ELPS, the English Language Proficiency Standards, 4J, which is the reading one. 4 is reading, and J, demonstrate English comprehension, expand reading skills by employing inferential skills such as predicting, making connections between ideas, drawing inferences and conclusions from text and graphic sources, and finding supporting evidence commensurate with content area needs. Okay, it looks like if you take my advice and talk about the sensory language and drawing conclusions with supporting evidence. That looks like it's pretty much is both of those. It's important to understand both of those, all those things that they mean. Now, in the regular English language arts or reading classroom for 6th grade, that TEKS up above number 8, that wouldn't be done in one lesson. That would be perhaps a week or 2 weeks that they would do that, and they would focus on this particular skill and the different parts of that long TEKS they would use, but they wouldn't do it all in just one lesson. But you're going to have one lesson here that's going to be 50 minutes. Again, make sure that these things about the reading, inferences, about the sensory language and adding support, make sure those words are included heavily in your SLO, your objective, your assessments. Make sure there's a formative assessment. Make sure there is a summative kind of an assessment. Those are what I'm looking for. Again, read again, lesson plan 1, all those different sections to get clarification, especially if I'm taking off points. Still, prior knowledge needing, make sure you have that relation with what they're going to be doing. Differentiation again, academic vocabulary again, probably from the reading. The most important words you think that relate to that they might not know. Higher order critical thinking. Again, don't forget that they're doing inferences and that they're justifying the reasons for their conclusions. Preparation materials, resources, make sure you have the title of the reading that they're going to do, plus other things you might have that you're going to need. I would really like to see some technology in here somewhere. Delivery procedures, again, make sure you have an anticipatory set or an introduction. Make sure that you're modeling for the students, that you are modeling for them with perhaps a different text, the same thing that you're expecting them to do when they're in their groups or in their pairs or whatever. And again, for ESL, you're going to find that ESL is probably much better with pairs than it is in groups of 3s or 4s. They're learning language. Language is difficult, and understanding just the teacher is hard enough, but understanding a peer might be even harder than understanding a teacher. And so you're going to be going around to the groups and doing a lot of scaffolding and formative assessment with them as well. Make sure you, so the delivery procedures, make sure that you're modeling for them. Make sure that when they're working in their groups that you're still supplying the support and so forth. Don't forget your closure as well. And it'd be nice to have them sharing what they have found out and what they discovered in their assignment. If you have any questions, please give me a call.